Hey there YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Mikey speaking. Today I wanted to go over Oklahoma's first-time home buying program. Now so far I've gone over Florida and Georgia, and I want to say Georgia has the best one so far. Oklahoma's I would rate 2, so rating them Georgia still being number 1, Oklahoma being number 2, and then Florida number 3. And I'm going to go over the details of why, how you can apply, and basically the pros and cons. Mainly that's the main part I'm going to go into, the pros and the cons of this first time home buyer program, because that's honestly all that matters: the pros, the cons, who can qualify, and is it worth your time. So let's bring you over to the computer. All right, so this is the document I actually pulled all the information from. It's called the OHFA Dream. So Oklahoma Housing Finance Agency Dream Program. So, and it's done through Freddie Mac, which is really awesome, in my opinion. So this actually has a lot of useful information, websites that you can go to, phone numbers you can call. So I'm going to have this actually linked in the description below. So if you want to get to this document, you can with ease. This will allow you to actually be able to contact the individuals if you have any questions. So the Oklahoma Dream Freddie Mac conventional loan. It is a conventional loan that you would be using. Let's go over the pros first. I don't want to discourage you so early. All right. So going over down payment assistance, you get up to 3.5% down for the down payment. And the good thing is you don't have to necessarily be a first-time home buyer to do this. Now, you can't own more than 2 properties to actually use this. Quick disclaimer before I go any further. Your lender will be able to give you more information on this, so definitely contact Freddie Mac and they'll be able to provide information whether you qualify or not and how much of this actually applies to you. So according to that document that I showed you, it did say that you do not have to be a first-time home buyer to use this program, but you can be a first-time home buyer to use the program. 3.5% down payment assistance for the total amount of what the actual loan is going to be. Now, I want to say the loan totals like $400,000 or something ridiculous. Like, the loan you can get for these houses is absolutely insane. I should have put that on here, actually. And I made some modifications, so I do apologize about that because I feel like this is useful information. So the total loan amount can't be more than $453,000 and change. So that is a huge amount, especially if you're shopping in Oklahoma. I feel like you can find a very nice house for a family or a single person, $200,000 or less, and you can find a beautiful house. I want to say I bought my house out there for $165K, and it's way bigger than I even need. All right, so no repayment on the 3.5. So that's going to be one of the biggest benefits on this, and this is why this is number 2. Just like Georgia, they actually have, well, Georgia's was you didn't have to repay it over the course of 5 years. 20% got taken off over the next 5 years. This one just straight up, you don't have to pay back that 3.5%, which is amazing in my opinion. Again, that's why it's number 2. And I'll go to the cons and I'll explain why it's not number 1. So you do get low or current market rates for your interest rate, which is really good. No prepayment penalty. This is amazing because if you go to sell your house and there's a prepayment penalty, then it's going to eat away at some of your profits when you go to sell. In this case, you don't have to worry about that. Now, this was interesting. It's up to 10 acres. Now, normally I didn't even know there was like a restriction on, usually they have a restriction on the unit amount, but not the acreage. But at least you can get up to 10 acres, and that gives you a good amount of land. Now, going to the cons, you have to actually be making around 65 to 45K or less, not that you have to be making that amount. Now, I didn't specifically say the amount on the document, or I missed it, but normally for these programs you have to be under a certain income, and that's what I've seen is the average for Oklahoma is usually 65 depending on the county or 45 depending on the county. Oklahoma City is usually around 65K to actually be able to apply for some of these programs. I know the gold one for Oklahoma City is around 65K, which is another payment assistant program I'm not going over because I don't like their terms and other conditions and stuff like that. You can't have a co-signer on this. Now, as far as I read, this is why this loan is this down payment assistance program is number 2 compared to Georgia is because you cannot refinance the house. And according to what I read, ask the lender, you cannot get a HELOC on it either. You can't get any second mortgages on it. But like I put here as a note, ask for clarification on this. It wasn't very detailed. It wasn't as detailed as I would like it to have been. It can't be an investment property, which again, if they're most of these, if not all these programs are meant for to these programs are meant to help you find a house to live in, not to sit here and buy an investment property. It's that first step to getting financially secure, to having a roof over your head instead of paying rent. So normally you can't do investment properties anyways. Now I put this as a con, but normally when you buy a house, you move into it like immediately, but you have to occupy the property within 60 days. I'm guessing if it needs some repairs or you're waiting for stuff to move there, especially being military, maybe you're waiting for your orders to actually start or your stuff to get there. Just keep that in mind that 60 days you have to be in there. Now, I put this as a con, but I personally prefer 30-year loans. It has to be a 30-year loan, according to what I read. It must be one unit. So you can't buy duplex, triplex, quadplex, and under here you can't buy a manufactured home. So it just has to be a one-unit house. Now, it doesn't say you can't get a townhouse. It does say restrictions on condos, though. But some condos are approved. They have like an approved list of condos. In theory, if you're getting a townhouse or a single unit, you're good. Now, the credit score was kind of pretty high for a first-time home buyer. It's 640 to 680 depending on your debt to income ratio. So if your debt to income ratio is at 45 or less, then you can be at a 640. But if it gets closer to that 50 or higher, then you're looking at a 680 credit score. That's a quick summary of the Oklahoma down payment assistance program offered by Freddie Mac. So, quick summary, it is a 3.5% down payment assistance. You don't have to pay it back. It is a 30-year loan. I went over the credit score that you have to be at, which is about a 640 or 680 before you sit here and apply for it. But overall, it is an amazing step to sit here and help people who have not bought their first house actually step foot into their first house. And keep in mind, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to actually use this one. But you can't have too many investment properties or properties of your own yet. So anyways, that's a quick overview. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what state you'd like me to do next. I'm thinking I want to do Alabama. But if you let me know down below, I'll consider what state you want me to do next. Anyways, until next time, have a good one. Bye.